Okay, let's take a moment and talk about grief. It's something that I have been really trying to help not only myself through, but a lot of others who seem to be going through a lot of grieving during these times. So, grief is actually what keeps us stuck in our past, creates the anger we have in our present, and then the fear that we have for our future. That is what grief does. When we're unable to move past a certain moment in our past and that is created with grief, we are building a wall, like a dam, let's say. Let's just use that picture. A dam. When something horrible happens, a traumatic event, what have you, grief is there. We create these walls to hold back that grief because we don't want to feel it. It's horrible. Grief is not a very fun thing to feel, as we all know. What happens, though, is that when grief it has to happen. Grief just has to happen or you'll drown. It is, again, you hold yourself back with those walls of addictions, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are addicted to alcohol, drugs. You could be addicted to literally anything and everything. It's just the way that it is. It's what we use to protect ourselves, to make us feel good temporarily in this moment. When we feel a leak crawl through these walls, what do? We try and stop the leak, right? We don't want to let that water out. We don't want to let it flow. We want to keep it in. But what happens if that dam just breaks and all this water comes gushing out onto the land below, this bare land? This land that was dry and fruitless and had nothing. But all these walls just kept all that water back. And this is what grief is like. You break down that wall of that dam that holds you back. You let go of your addictions. You just go with it. And like the water flowing out of the dam, it's going to be tremendous. It's going to be like whoosh, And people they'll feel that. They'll feel that initial rush of water coming forth, emotion, and they'll build that dam again. They can't do it. But what happens if you just let it? Just let it go. The water just comes flowing in, and there's going to be waves. You might feel good for a moment, and then it's wave of grief, and then this wave of happiness. And then as the water settles along that new barren land, it smooths out. It starts creating life. You start seeing a new perception of you and your life and what you can build with this new ground that you're on. You wonder, why did you hold all of that back? Why did you keep all of this land below dry? Why did you let it die? Why didn't you water it? That is grief. That is what we need to do with grief. We just need to ride the waves and know that eventually that water is going to calm. Not to say there's not going to be storms, but that's another topic. Just ride the grief. Let the dam break. Just a little information from myself today. Namaste.